The man convicted of murdering his father and father's partner will spend the rest of his life in prison. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Richardson. Renee is off.
And I'm Matt Templeman. The sentence for Johan Gillette was part of a deal struck last week. KEZI 9 News reporter Sarah Hurwitz joins us live from the Lane County Courthouse with the very latest on Johan's final day in court. It's our top story here at 6 o'clock. Sarah?
A number of people gave their final statements in court this morning, including Johan and Johan's brother James. With words of sadness, grief, and reflection, they described what happened on September 7, 2012, and the ultimate outcome of this trial. Johan Gillette showed remorse as he gave his final statement to the court during his sentencing Tuesday.
I would like to apologize to my girlfriend for telling her that it was safe. I would like to apologize just to everyone for this situation being caused at least in part by me not keeping my big mouth shut.
But he also said the trial didn't have a fair, legal, or just outcome.
I was charged with capital murder within 3 days of the fight itself, prior to even initial lab reports, and obviously well before any decent investigation could be completed.
He said there seemed to be something fundamentally off with the nature of the charges and the prosecution's lack of interest in community input. Now, Johan was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences Tuesday for beating his father, James Gillette, to death, as well as his father's partner, former University of Oregon School of Music Dean Ann McLucas. Now, this comes after the prosecution and defense struck a deal last Friday. Johan signed off on a sentencing agreement, giving up his state legal appeal rights in exchange for avoiding a possible death sentence, a deal his brother James encouraged him to take.
The statistics say that in these cases, the majority of the time a jury comes back with a death sentence.
James Gillette is standing behind his brother. He says the community was clear his brother Johan was a peaceful and nonviolent man, and yet he was convicted.
There is no possibility in our minds that this could have been done by my brother with intent, and therefore any charges or any way they should have proceeded with this case should not have included the presumption of intent.
He says in a selfless act, his brother agreed to the sentence for his family, so it will give the family easier visitation rights. But the state says the verdict and the sentence are justified.
People are going to say that, boy, I never would have expected this person to ever do this, never do it again. The reality is he did it the first time.
But both sides agree what happened on September 7, 2012 has been tough for everyone involved, especially for the victims who never got to say goodbye to their loved ones, like Ann McLucas' son.
I think the trial was mostly about Johan and his father, and my mother was not as much of the focus of the trial, but really was the innocent victim in all of this and should never have been involved in it.
I do not feel what happened to him was a tragedy per se, as he brought it upon himself. The only tragedy in this incident, in my opinion, is Ann.
And Johan's brother James says that he and Johan were told early on to not talk to the media, but he says that he feels that their story wasn't told, and that's why he's speaking out now. And in that sentence deal, Johan cannot appeal any pretrial or trial rulings. Live in Eugene, Sarah Hurwitz, KEZI 9 News.